Chandrasekhar, 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 Bhagimam. Chandrasekhar, 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 Rakshamam. Panchapalava Pushpagandha Padambuja.
Can the Kriyas help a person that has a history of long drug use, an obsession, compulsive behavior problems, mental problems? Can the Kriyas help with that?
It's a very small way we are working with people like that, but if we have to handle large groups of people like that, we need a certain facility and a certain support system. Definitely they could be helped, but it needs a certain atmosphere, a certain facility and things like that. Right now, the local volunteers and meditators have, wanting to set up a center in the United States. So they bought some land in Tennessee now. It's a very beautiful piece of land. We have 3 waterfalls inside the land and it's very good. So if the center comes up there in a short while, then maybe we could think of handling such situations, but then we need to first build the place, then train the people. It's a long process. But definitely they could be helped if they are at least willing to be helped. And whatever the addiction, one thing is, it's a mental thing. Another thing is, it might have become a physiological thing over a period of time. Body has gotten used to certain chemicals and things. Even if you mentally want to give up, the body won't let you come out of it. So, for those things, we have very powerful, kriyas and karmas. Kriya means internal action, karma means external action. Both kriyas and karmas, a combination of this, can be used to completely detoxify the body so that the physical urge can be taken off. Once the physical urge is taken off, it is just a question of community support and family support and all that, because you can't keep a person in an institution forever. So, what kind of community and family support is there, which I feel is very poor in this country? The outside support is very poor. If you go on the street, everything is pulling you in that direction. For a person who's already been in it, if he walks on the street, there are so many things which are dragging him in that direction, isn't it? So there is no community support. There are a couple of people who have come from here, stayed in India for sufficiently long periods, and they've completely come out of it, and the thing is, they don't want to come back here because they feel if they come back here, they go back to their old friends and whatever, they're invariably going to get into it. But life doesn't work like that unless they're completely willing to uproot themselves from here and do something else, which I think is worthwhile, but not possible for large numbers of people. It's only possible for individuals. A certain scientist in the United States was working on the impact of cannabis on human consciousness. For almost 18 years, the United States government gave him 30 kgs of marijuana per year to experiment. 18 years of experimentation, he produced nothing. So during the late 80s, when the drug situation was getting bad and they cut this quota, 30 kgs of marijuana that they were giving him, there's nothing doing. We don't know where it's going with 30 kgs because you have done nothing. He tried to explain that he has done so many things, but still it's not come to conclusion, but they said nothing doing and cut the marijuana quota. So he moved to Israel. The Israeli government looked at his work and they decided to give him.
So they gave him the same 30 kgs of kilos of marijuana for another 6 to 8 years. Then he came up with this. He actually produced proof that within the human brain, every human brain, there are millions of cannabis receptors. So this information, what to do with this, they do not know, they threw it across. They gave it to the anthropologists, they gave it to the physiologists, they gave it to the neurologists, they gave it to all kinds of people. There are millions of cannabis receptors in the human brain. What is the explanation? How? Why? So anthropologists said maybe at some point in history, maybe everybody was doping. Which cannot be, because in many parts of the world it doesn't even grow. So various kinds of explanations came, nothing sensible came out of it. Then the neurologists, after about 2.5 years of looking into this in various levels, they said, when human being is in a certain state of experience, the human system itself produces the necessary chemicals for which it is waiting. So, these millions of cannabis receptors are waiting for you to produce it. Those who could not produce it, they try to put it from outside and damage the system. Look at me, I'm always blissed out. Look into my eyes and see I'm stoned. Never been on a substance, but always stoned. Because the very system does this. So, in India, there's been enormous, in the yogic systems, there's enormous focus on the pineal gland, you know? You know the pineal gland? For a long time, the modern medicine almost ignored it. They said, there are so many things in this body which we are not bothered about, it's because it's not concerned about day-to-day health situations. Today, the maximum that they have come to is, they are beginning to say the secretions of the pineal gland, if they're on, if they're active, there will be no mood swings in you. That's not the point. There is a whole system of yoga to activate the pineal gland. If you activate this and if it generates sufficient amount of secretion, you will be ecstatic every moment of your life. Simply every cell in your body will be bursting all the time. Now when you're like this, if you eat, if you don't eat, if you sleep, if you don't sleep, nothing matters because you're blissed out. In this state, everything is effortless. Just doesn't matter. You can function at the best because you can effectively use your body and mind at its best. There's enough medical proof for this, only when you're in utmost pleasantness. Otherwise you cannot use your body, you cannot use your mind to its fullest. Both this body and this mind will… you can explore the full potential of what it is only when you are in a sustained level of pleasantness within you. Otherwise you are a damn issue by yourself. All the time you are an issue by yourself. It doesn't work. So, whatever the effort that human being is making, whether he goes to the temple, goes to the bar, wants to go to heaven, this is a whole effort, isn't it? Isn't this a whole effort? He wants something larger than what is happening right now to happen to him. Isn't it so? Isn't that the reason why he is drinking, why he is praying, why he is drugging and why he thinks he wants to go to heaven? He wants something more to happen, isn't it? Look at this simply. Something more will happen only if your perception is enhanced, not otherwise. Is that so? So the whole system of yoga is only focused towards enhancing your perception. If your perception is enhanced, something more, you don't have to look for it. It is happening in such proportions, you have to learn to handle it. Big things will happen.
Is it possible that you take them to the Tantra to see that you give them the higher levels of bliss so that the other thing drops off? Or what's the remedy that you suggest for dealing with this big epidemic?
If I say this, I will be very unpopular in United States. I think you're mollycoddling your people a bit too much. If you do this, they will never grow up. You're treating adults like children. It's a very wrong thing to do. See, already they don't like it, they became still. See, when you say an addiction, first of all, they're getting a prescription. As you already said, 80% of the opioids are being consumed in United States for 5% of the population. Obviously, a whole lot of people who don't need it. If we were using morphine when somebody's limb got chopped off in a war or accident or something, that's another level of pain, okay? That's something different. But rest of the pain you must be capable of handling. You got little stomachache, you want to take an opioid, I mean, it's going there, I'm saying, for small things it's being prescribed. So, this may be a whole commercial angle to this that I don't want to look at it because I don't know the details of that aspect. But I think definitely there must be a commercial thing to it, but generally the culture is becoming like this, that adults are being treated like babies and adults are expecting that they will be treated like babies by the doctors, by the government, by the entire society. This should go. It's time to grow up, okay? We must understand if we do certain things, pain will come to the body. It will come naturally. See, the very way we're functioning is this. Suppose you're walking on the street, a bicycle came, you will step back, not out of humility, the consequence of pain, isn't it? If there was no pain, even if a truck comes, you'll walk into it. So, everybody must understand the consequence of pain. You do silly things to yourself and then somebody will give you an opioid which will keep you lala all the time. Hey, it's not right. I think it's fundamentally wrong. First of all, why are we getting people there? Somebody in a war-like situation, something where injuries are not grievous injuries, they're not simple injuries, that's different. But for every little pain that you get, you need an opioid. That culture must be taken off. First of all, I don't think people will change this consciously because it's nice, you know. They're not going to change it. I think it can be done by law. I know a lot of protests will happen, but after some… They were not taking this just 15 years ago, isn't it so? Hello? 15 years ago it was not there. So they were managing without that, why can't they manage in the next 15 years too? There are certain aspects where it can be, but the real problem comes, how do you know my pain? You know, how do you judge my pain? My pain is too much for me, but you think it's not good enough. So this aspect is always there, that's a subjective aspect which we should leave it to the physician to judge, I believe. But there must be a law that only for certain things you can give it, you can't just simply distribute candies.